Hey people, it is Positive Paul Wilson Lindner Jr. here on Monday, July 1st, 2024, and I'm reporting once again that these sad sack Satanists are hassling me specifically through these implants that are slowly causing my health to deteriorate, and I cannot get medical help. I went back to the VA just to see what they would do, and it's more of the same of their Mickey Mouse games, doing their dirty deeds done dirt cheap for their satanic masters. And while, most Americans are, planning their barbecues, going to the, store to pick up all their goodies, right, for the 4th of July, planning their vacations, their sporting events. They're clueless to the fact that their government's ran by a bunch of sad sack Satanists. And it's been this way, keeping things in a post-World War II perspective. A lot of people understand this, but for the most part, you put your head down and you keep your mouth shut. Because the minute you show resistance against the satanic power structure, they have a time-tested method, a machine, their buzzsaw that they can put into place and destroy anyone's life. And, back in the day, in the 50s, probably 60s, they just kill you outright. These whistleblowers, good men and women, tried to stand up against these Machiavellian monsters, these intellectual barbarians, and all their ties to the occult, their witchcraft, everything that Satanism is about. But what they do is, right, they present it like they have the higher moral ground that, they hijacked God's, his will on earth. And, ancient history is certainly, it's good. We must study that. We must try to understand, understand where you came from to figure out how we ended up in this mess, this nightmare scenario. So myself, I've been explaining this. I am now a 58-year-old hoveled man, broke except when Jude and Athena send me money, or my fellow Mexicans down here try to help me out with work, which I can only make $20 a day, because that's unfortunately the way it is. It's not something being done against me. It's just the way things work in other countries around the world, as far as economies of scale, ability to make money, is much different than the skewed system in the United States. So I reported concerning these implants and these Satanists going all the way back to 2013. Now, when I went to the VA in San Diego, I wasn't squawking about these Satanists. I was trying to understand why blood was pouring out of my mouth, a metallic taste in my mouth all the time. This began around 2010. It was a fever pitch by 2012, and that's when I got hooked up with the VA and they saw me coming. So the first doctor that I saw, Heifetz, they totally ditched her and they stuck me with this individual by the name of Jennifer Javers, the fixer. And, I went in there, I told her my story, keeping it to a minimum. And, little did I know that I was in a total hornet's nest that, again, you cannot get to the people that you want to bring to justice to expose. It's so compartmentalized, and they have the money, the power to use anyone, anywhere, anytime, because people are bought and paid whores now. They will save their own lily white asses and sell out their brothers, their sisters, their parents. And this is what's described in Matthew, in the gospel. And, it's very strange that all these things are coming true. But does the truth matter? So yes, I go up there. I'm squawking about my medical issues that are a direct effect of these implants. And, whether or not I knew exactly what was going on, with the vibrating in my teeth concerning these tracking implants, how it all happened, and to be able to explain that, which is still impossible. Either way, the message would have never been received. They already were working hard on how to discredit me and try to make me look like, well, I'm going to explain it to you right now. And now this picture is as of Thursday. And the main tracking implant is right here where this mole is. If you looked at a picture of me going back to 2016, which I have, that is not as pronounced and you can barely see it. Now, what they're doing is, on my other side where I've got fake teeth and they're falling apart, they keep doing something. I've showed you the other picture right here, that mark, but now this one's showing up, and look how they're all directly in a straight line. So with their satanic shenanigans, that now it's in the beginning of its 9th year concerning these flyovers, these EMP pulses, these EMP bursts concerning these implants, and whatever it is they're doing, it's starting to seriously affect me. So I have an X-ray of my teeth, the one section that I just explained, and there you go, anomaly there and anomaly there. They understand this. They know what they're trying to cover up. So essentially, I bled out like a pig back then in 10, 11, 12, and then when I got to the VA, things started to, whatever section of my mouth was failing and deteriorating, causing all this blood, they wouldn't explain it. They did all these tests. Oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with you, And so here's what it looked like last year, where you can see, and look, again, it's a perfect straight line. Go back to right there. And so now they're either missing or they're trying to hit the other section of my mouth with the tracking implants. And keep in mind, they're spending millions of dollars a year to keep this vaudeville act going, specifically down here in Mexico, and it's sad. None of these Mexicans are curious. They don't ask any questions. And a lot of them, they've just been bought off to be snitches while they've been hiding in their houses the whole time from the cartel. And so the gringo comes down, but yet they'll peek out their window for me, and they can only do what they're told, and we'll get into that. So again, that's the section I'm dealing with right now, but it's all within my teeth. Some of them are fake, and they're starting with these flyovers. So what happened is I tried to deal with this, and I wrote a letter to the director of the VA expressing concern regarding my medical care at the San Diego healthcare system up there off of La Jolla Village Drive. And you could see after they got rid of Heifetz because they didn't have her under their grip. So Javer steps in on April 25th, 2014. And then what do I do? I spill my guts again after spilling my guts to Heifetz about certain issues that if the truth got out about how corrupt this government's been and who actually owns it, 4th of July would be canceled, like I said. It's just a matter of time. So what happens is I wrote to the director, I put in legally the method to get my notes amended to fight back against their slander and their lies and their false assessments and their false progress notes. And Javer, she had gone off the deep end with me, and some of the things that she wrote had to be recanted, removed, and you see the request was granted. There's Javer's name. But what this lady did is she's telling the director, and this all If the collusion's not there, like I said, God strike me dead now. May these cartel guys just, shoot me up in the middle of the street. It's just so sad, man, that they got away with cold-blooded murder. There's children that never got to testify. And somehow I survived this, and this is who I'm speaking for. My fellow Americans back in the 50s and the 60s in my age group. I want to know what happened to these people. I've been on a 9-year search, and social media is about the most pathetic, aspect of the internet. And I'll just leave it at that because, see, I can't do these videos. But here's what she does. 48-year-old male with homicidal ideation against former coworkers at the post office where I worked at. All right? Saying that, the director doesn't feel the patient can be managed safely here. So what they do is they put you in front of their quacks, all right? But Javer was the fixer. She started all this, saying that, I told her that, I'm going to, do something to these people. And I'm telling you, every American, you listen good. These are all lies. I can walk into any courtroom, face any lazy lying lizard lawyer, judge, look them in the eye, swear on a stack of Bibles, take a lie detector test. I did not say that. Me, Paul Wilson Lindner Jr., did not say anything to the effect. These lazy, lying, deceitful, disgusting lizards that doing the work of the devil. So this is how they kick it off to get me on the watch list. Because, see, these creeps that are, now Homeland Security, right? The glorified Gestapo. They work together but act like they don't know what's going on and who's who. But they know damn well. So they do this to get me on this watch list because of these implants, my MK Ultra involvement, and what happened to me as a child in the 60s, and other issues that, there's people pretending to be me on the internet now for the past since 2016. These so-called targeted individuals, not just me, there were other people in my age group that they had to come up with some damage control program other than to try to set these individuals up with crimes, slander them, write false progress notes. They get you into their system, and this is how they do it. So what do? I write my side of the story. Because remember, folks, there is only one side of the story concerning these Satanists and the so-called U.S. government. You cannot. They are untouchable, right? They're like the mob, right? Like what's his name? The guy that they couldn't get into court or whatever. The Teflon Don, whatever his name was. I wrote this up about their slander, their defamation, their accusations, all this. And you know what? What they do is, here's how it works in the federal government, folks. See, again, they look for the weak link, someone to do their dirty work. So that way, the real people that you want to bring to justice will never, ever be touched. Okay, what they do is they get them to do their dirty work, and then what they do is they give them a promotion. They remove them from the area, and that's how, out of sight, out of mind. So they try to make me look crazy, all in one fell swoop. And remember, during this whole period, too, I'm down here in Mexico with my son's mom and my young son dealing with all this. And so my only mistake was being with these dopey cartel guys that apparently stole a car, a Camaro, that I knew nothing about. The only thing I did was take a permit out. I would like to know, really, have the FBI come clean on what this was all about. Because, see, that was the slander they used for the Mexicans to get them on board with the harassment and surveillance, right? Now, they use all kinds of slander, and it depends on who they're talking to. So these people don't have their story straight, okay? Let's put them under the microscope. So what happens is there he is, Director Goering, right? They get this all set up and in place, and then he resigns. Get him out of there, okay? And it's very sad. Now, this guy, Jay Kennison, was my old Marine Corps buddy. Friends, right? Since we were teenagers in the Marine Corps, and he was one of the first ones to be on the receiving end of the slander campaign. He knows what was exactly said. And you know what? It got to the point where they put the kibosh on him that if he spilled the beans, and I won't tell you what our interactions were, but I explained this about how we were arguing about the stalking, harassment, trying to figure out what was said about me. He wouldn't say a word. This guy was supposed to be my Marine buddy, always faithful, semper fi. No. See, what happens is, folks, Esau, Jacob, these Machiavellian monsters, these dopey Satanists and their little games, they understand that Scripture is real. They understand that they had to have these conspiracy theories to cover up the crimes against these children, sucking the blood out of them, the illegal experimentation, MK Ultra, the rape, the torture, the abuse, the electrocution. And then when you can't kill them off because they're under spiritual protection, they're the elect, stuff them with implants. Now, one would say, why would Jesus let this happen, right? Now, we're again, I don't think the apostles needed to be raped and tortured back then, right? They just chopped their heads off, right? You speak out, bye-bye, off with your head. So Jay knew. Jay knew what was going on, and his witch mom, who was one of my handlers, okay? These baby boomers, the children of the greatest generation, all right, whether they were fully on board, immersed with these Satanists, or they just didn't understand what they were getting into. They sold the American children out, and then they start this racism crap to make all white people look like these evil people, which we're not. All right? So Jay, he never came clean, and he let me, he essentially, had to take the side of the devil. That's how it works. So, none of these people are my enemies. I don't need to bless them or curse them. See, God's vengeance is his alone on the enemies of his elect. All right? But see, we are allowed to witness about these satanic shenanigans and what goes on, the truth behind the United States of America and what it's become and what its downfall will be for selling out their own children. And they know because, see, the satanic power structure, the New World Order, the global elite, right? Whatever you want to call these screwballs, they know that their time is almost up. And they can run, they can hide in their little crevices underneath in their deep underground military bases. But Yahweh will find them and burn them out like the little rats in these tunnels over in Vietnam with these flamethrowers. Except Yahweh, these flames come out of his mouth, his nostrils. And see, the ancient Edomites, these ancient Canaanites know the power of Yahweh. They know the power of electromagnetic energy and being burnt to crispy critters. So you do the work. I explained to Jay about Uncle Carl, all this stuff. And you know what? In one ear and out the other. Because, see, folks, there are no Nazis in America. There was no Operation Paperclip. There was no Bush. Any of that. No Uncle Carl. None of this exists. There is no Illuminati. There is no blood to keep these monsters going. Stay away from the blood. Genesis 9. For it is the life of all flesh. You shall not eat the blood. Anyone that touches the blood will be immediately put to death. But see, we live in a world of duality. We live in a world of these lazy lying lizards that do things behind the good folks' backs when they're not looking. And then the next morning they just shower up, clean up, and act like they're Ward Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver, right? So yes, folks, there you go. And this is a very small snippet of what I have to offer. But see, there's no legal system for a satanic ritual abuse survivor, MK Ultra survivor. There's no judicial system. There's nothing. That these monsters think that they could get away with this. And you know what? They're not. It's called the Lake of Fire. Burn, baby, burn.